This is how to play the major scale, 3 notes per string. And if that's all you wanted, you can click off the video right now. I'm not interested in wasting anybody's time, but if you're someone who's looking for a little bit more information, then let's go a bit deeper. We can talk about how to find the key of a song so you can use the major scale properly, and also a couple little tricks you can do to make it sound super cool. But first things first, let's break down the tabs of what I just played so that you can actually get this under your fingers yourself. So we're going to be starting on the 8th fret of the low E string, and this is going to give us the C major scale. And if you were playing in the key of C, this would work perfectly. So very slow, we have 8, 10, 12, 8, 10, 12 again, then we have 9, 10, 12 on the D string, then we have 9, 10, 12 again on the G string, then we have 10, 12, 13 on the B string, and then 10, 12, 13 one more time on the high E string. And that's going to be the major scale, also known as the Ionian mode. So now we know how to play the scale, and that's great. But how do we use it in context to ensure that we're not playing the major scale in the wrong key? Well, there's a couple objective things that we can do, but there's also a couple tricks that we can use if we don't actually know the key that we're in. So really quickly, one of the objective things that we can do is if we know for a fact that the song is in the key of C, for example, we find C on our fretboard, we put our index finger there, and then we start playing the major scale. And that will put us in the key and make sure that all of our notes sound good. But what if the song is in the key of C minor? Then what do we do? Well, typically, when playing in a minor key, we more often than not gravitate towards the pentatonic scale. So if we're playing in C minor, we'd play something like this. And that's great, but we're talking about the major scale. So if we're playing in C minor, how do we use the major scale and not have it sound completely wrong? Well, it's actually pretty easy to do. If we know where the C minor pentatonic box is right here, because we're playing in C minor, what we can do is move up 3 frets, or 1 scale degree of the pentatonic scale, and we can play our major scale right here. And that would give us E flat major, and that would be in the same key as C minor. And this is something that will always work. Let's say, for example, that we're playing in the key of A minor on the 5th fret. If we know our pentatonic box is right here, same thing applies. All we have to do is go up 3 frets, or 1 scale degree of the pentatonic box, and right here we have our C major scale. So if we play the C major scale over an A minor chord progression, it will still sound good. And as a matter of fact, here's an example for some context. And for the C major scale, that actually sounded pretty good. More often than not, whenever we think C major or any major scale, we typically gravitate towards a happy sound. But if you play it correctly, then it can sound however you want. And so to ensure that your guitar solos don't sound like nursery rhymes, because I know that's one of the biggest fears of especially metal players and shredders, is you want to sound evil and powerful with your solos. You don't want it to sound happy and almost like a kid's solo, if that makes sense. You want it to sound cool. So there's some target notes that we want to aim for, and we're not going to go super deep into that because this lesson is not about target notes and phrasing and solos. It's about the scale. But I wanted to give you guys a little bit of extra value because there's definitely some notes that you want to avoid landing on. These would be considered passing tones, and once again, we're not going crazy deep, but I'm just going to give you a little bit of extra sauce for your solos so you can walk away from this video feeling happy and almost like you have something extra to play while practicing how to play the scale. So for right now, the scale degrees that we want to land on are the 3rd and the 6th. And the reason for this is because it gives you that minor and pentatonic resolution that you're still looking for, but in a different scale. Now I need you to follow this very closely. If we were to relate this to the major key, if we're playing the pentatonic scale, this would be the 6th, and this would be the 3rd. So if we're playing the pentatonic scale, something like this, we have a 6th here, a 3rd here, and another 6th here. So if you're playing a scale, let's say a blues solo or a metal solo, you hear this a lot. The resolution. That 6th right there. So if we wanted to have that same feeling in the major scale, you have to play on the 3rd and the 6th, or I should say resolve on those particular scale tones. So if we move back up to the major scale and play up the scale, There's our third right there. There's our sixth right there. If we continue on, there's another third right there. There's another sixth right there. And so we could take a solo that sounds something like this and land on the root, which is a very happy sound. We could also take it and do something like this. Once again, using the major scale, but sounds completely different based on the notes that I'm landing on. So now you have something to aim for when you're practicing. You can go from the pentatonic scale all the way up into the major scale or the Ionian mode, and it still has the same flavor. And it starts to get super cool when you add in sliding from one scale to the other, and it just makes your whole solo blend together so much nicer. Instead of having that chopped up feeling of obviously pentatonic scale, then switching to obviously major scale. If you blend them together very nicely, it just looks like you've mastered the entire neck. And if you're someone who's looking to extend their scale and solo repertoire even further, check out this video right here.